All right, today we're diving deep into the new 2026 rules for inherited IRAs. And trust me, this is information you're going to want to hear. If you've inherited a retirement account, or you think you might someday, these changes are a really big deal for your family's finances. What you don't know could be incredibly costly. So let's get right into it.
So, for the last few years, the IRS kind of gave everyone a pass. They had this grace period where they waived penalties while they figured out all the details. But that time is over. The era of leniency is done. Full enforcement kicked in back in 2025, and by 2026, these new rules are the law of the land. So, what on earth does that mean for you?
Well, if you are the beneficiary of an IRA, this is where you really need to lean in. There's a new tax trap that is officially active, and if you fall into it by mistake, it could cost you, and I mean really cost you.
Okay, first things first, let's break down the core of the problem. It's a huge change to what most people know as the 10-year rule, and it's created something we're calling a double mandate for a whole lot of beneficiaries.
Now here's the absolute key. Everything, and I mean everything, comes down to one simple question. Had the original owner of the account started taking their own required minimum distributions, their RMDs? If they passed away before they had to start taking money out, the rule's pretty simple. But if they passed away after they started their RMDs, the game completely changes.
And this is that double mandate we were talking about. If the original owner had already started taking their RMDs, you can't just sit back and wait 10 years. Nope. Now you're on the hook for what we call the annual grind. You have to take taxable withdrawals every single year for 9 years straight, and then you have to completely empty the rest of the account by the end of year 10.
So what's the bottom line? Well, if you miss any one of those required annual payments, the IRS can hit you with a 25% penalty on the amount you were supposed to take out. That is a massive penalty just for missing a deadline.
Okay, but it is not all doom and gloom. While these new IRA rules are definitely a challenge, a huge piece of legislation that passed back in July 2025 has given us some new tools that can help soften the blow. So let's see what's in the toolbox.
First up, if you're 65 or older, there's a brand new $6,000 deduction. This is great because it can directly lower your overall taxable income, which gives you more breathing room to take those IRA distributions without getting bumped into a higher tax bracket.
And for those of you living in high-tax states, like California or New York, this is huge. The cap on deducting your state and local taxes, the SALT deduction, has been jacked up to $40,000 for married couples. That means much, much bigger deductions against your federal income.
And just to show you how targeted some of these new tax breaks are, check this out. There's even a new deduction for up to $10,000 in interest on a car loan, as long as that vehicle was assembled right here in the U.S.
And finally, the bill introduced a totally new way to build a legacy for your grandkids. They're a new kind of tax-advantaged account for young kids, and as a grandparent, you can put in up to $5,000 a year. It's basically a gift that gets to grow with a tax advantage over time.
Okay, now we need to talk about a critical warning. An estate planning tool that you might have set up years ago thinking it would protect your heirs could now, believe it or not, be a financial time bomb.
You see, a lot of older estate plans use something called a Conduit Trust. And before all these new rules, this was a fantastic strategy. It would stretch out the IRA distributions over your heirs' entire lifetime, which kept their annual tax bill really low. But now, it's a trap. That same trust is now forced to dump the entire IRA balance onto your beneficiary within that 10-year window. That can trigger a huge tax bill and completely defeats the whole reason you set up the trust in the first place.
The other option, what's called an accumulation trust, might be even worse. You see, trusts hit the highest possible federal tax bracket, 37%, at a shockingly low income level. We're talking just over $16,000. That means a huge chunk of the inheritance could just vanish into taxes before your heirs ever get a dime.
This is why our key takeaway here is so urgent. You absolutely have to review any existing trust documents with a legal or financial professional, and do it now. You have to make sure your estate plan isn't accidentally set up to fail under these new 2026 rules. So you've seen the traps, you see the new landscape. The big question is, what can you actually do about it? Well, here are 3 concrete, smart strategies you can use to protect your legacy.
Hands down, the most powerful defense against that annual grind is a Roth conversion. See, if you convert your traditional IRA funds to a Roth IRA while you're alive, your heirs inherit an account that is not subject to those annual withdrawals. They just have to empty the account tax-free by the end of year 10.
That gives them maximum control and flexibility. Our second strategy is called bracket filling, and the idea here is really simple. Instead of waiting for one giant high-tax withdrawal in that final 10th year, which could shove you into a way higher tax bracket, you strategically take out just enough each year to fill up your current lower tax bracket. It's all about smoothing out the tax hit over the decade.
And finally, we have to talk about the powerful and unique option that is only available to a surviving spouse. You can actually treat an inherited IRA as if it were your very own. What this means is you can delay taking any money out for years until you hit your own RMD age. It effectively just resets the clock, lets the money keep growing, and lets you completely sidestep that 10-year rule.
So the rules have officially changed. The grace period is over, and the financial consequences if you don't act are very real. This new landscape requires planning. Whether you're setting up your own legacy or you're managing an inheritance right now, your financial plan has to be ready for this new reality. The clock is ticking, so the time to get this sorted out is now.